Hello, everyone. Good afternoon or good morning in the case of Adam. Hi, Adam.
Hello, Jeroen.
Hello. Thank you for joining and thank you for watching. Um, Welcome to Get Response Live, episode 229. And we share a lot about Power BI, AI. So we thought, now maybe let's combine it a little bit, AI and BI. So that's what we're gonna be discussing in this week's episode. And we're gonna be looking at is it a new product? I think so. Adam knows more about it. A new product called Plotly, where in natural language you can create your dashboard. So that's of course very interesting, and he will give a demo on that. So if you like this content, don't forget to like us, either via LinkedIn or YouTube, wherever you're watching, or subscribe to our channel to see every week a new episode. And if you want to learn more about Power BI, but also AI, be sure to check out Power Up. That's our learning platform, so you can find more information on that on our website. And we're going to be translating it. If you're watching maybe from other countries, we're going to be translating it in a lot more languages. So let me know in the comments which language you would like to have the trainings be translated to, and I will have a look whether it's possible with AI, by the way. But maybe more about that in a future episode. So don't forget to use the comment section to ask your questions. You are allowed to just during the episode ask your questions. I discussed it with Adam, so there's no issue. And Mary Ann is already saying hello, hello, ha. Nice that you're watching, Mary Ann. And Adam, before we dive into Plotly, maybe you can introduce yourself shortly. What's your role at Plotly? And yeah.
For sure. I didn't know it's episode 229. I wanted like a more interesting number, like 230 or 250.
Oh, then you should come back another time. I'll pick a nice number then.
Well, first of all, I also wanted to highlight Marianne, one of our community members as well, has been using Plotly and also lives in the Netherlands. I'm happy she's here with us. A little bit about me. First of all, Jeroen, thank you so much for inviting me. It's been a pleasure watching some of your live podcast videos on LinkedIn, and the amount of impact that you have in the Power BI and data analysis world, especially in the Netherlands, is impressive. So thank you for inviting me.
Yeah.
So a little bit about me. I'm Plotly community manager. I've been in the role for about 4 years or so. A little bit over 4 years. My name is Adam, and as my main responsibility is to help people all around the world discover Plotly, discover the different open source products and libraries that we've built and that we have. So Plotly, and we'll talk about them today. Plotly Dash and Plotly Studio. And in that role, I do things like this, right? Where I'm a guest speaker for Jeroen. I do conferences, in-person meetups, virtual meetups. I support people on the forum, and just encourage people to discover Plotly and learn more about Plotly and data visualization in general.
Great. And you were talking about Dash and Plotly. Can you explain maybe for the people that don't know it, what's the relation between those two and how
Yeah, for sure. Also see Mo is here. Hey Mo, welcome. Mo was the one and Art. Mo was the one that did the Plotly Dallas meetup yesterday. So pretty excited about that because we do have different meetups in different cities around the world. So Jeroen, hey Art. So Jeroen, the difference between Plotly and Dash. So Plotly is the name of the company, and Plotly as a company created the Plotly graphing library, right? In Python. There's other languages, but it's mainly in Python. And we've created since 2013, I think we've had this graphing library. And it's probably the most used Python-based graphing library in the world, with over 40 million downloads per month, if I'm not mistaken. If you just go to PyPy stats, you would see that. And what's cool about Plotly is that it provides you with interactive charts, right? So you can build over. Let me actually share Am I sharing screen
Yeah,
yet?
I will enter your screen now.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. So, oh, perfect. So this is Dash. Let's go to Plotly. So this is the Plotly graphing library, and it's plotly.com/Python. Jeroen, I added it in our private chat just in case you want to share it with your community. And so we have here a bunch of different charts, right? First, we have a chapter about fundamentals, how to build certain charts, controls, and then we have basic charts, statistical charts, scientific, financial maps, and it's probably about over 100 charts. And you can go into each one of them, right? If you want to learn more about basic charts, click on this button right here, more basic charts, and then you'll see I kind of like dot plots. I don't know why, but I really like dot plots. Pie charts, bubble charts, Gantt charts, sunbursts. A lot of people like sunbursts, so we can click on that. Dumbbells. Probably the scatter plot is one of the most common ones. And then you can read more about it in our docs, right? How do you do it? How do you build it? And what's popular about Plotly is that with one line of code, after you incorporate your data, you have your graph, right? You just have to define the data that you're using, in this case, the iris data set, what you want on the x-axis and what you want on the y-axis for a scatter plot. For a
Very
bar,
efficient, eh? Like everything with Python. It's very short
yeah,
code.
yeah, very efficient, exactly. And sometimes if you want to add stuff, maybe like the size of the marker or the hover data or the color, then you can just add those attributes. Color, I want this column name. Size, I want this column name in the Excel sheet, or whatever data set you're using, right? And you can see a bunch of examples here. So this is the graphing library to create a lot of different charts and graphs. So the community and our viewers today, if you have any questions about what you're seeing in the graphing library or a chart that maybe might not exist, ask here and I can see if I can answer you. Sunburst as well. And so that's Plotly, that's the graphing library. Now, in addition to Plotly, around 2017, hey Esther, we created Dash. Our co-founder Chris Palmer created Dash, and what Dash is Dash allows you to create interactive, fully fledged dashboards. Right? You can think of dashboards like the dashboards you build with Excel or Power BI dashboards or Google Analytics dashboards. Well, now you can build it with just Python, just with Dash, and so it inherently takes the Plotly graphing library and Plotly graphs into it and adds to it the controls. So now if you want, let me go to my screen. If you want, for example, to add, let's see, a simple Dash app here, Dash in 20 minutes tutorial. So look at this app right here, view app. This is the code and the app is here. So we have a histogram, we have a table, a Dash AG grid, and then we have a radio button, right? This is our control. So if I change the radio button, average, it will change the x-axis. The x-axis stays the same. It'll change the y-axis. Average of GDP per cap, population, and now you see the population is the y-axis, and so on and so on. So that's what Dash allows you. It allows you to create fully fledged dashboards by adding controls, drop downs, date pickers, sliders, over like 30 controls, right? And then causing that interactivity. So you program it in the backend using Python code. If user chooses radio button A, then it will filter data set B, and it will recreate or replot histogram C, whatever, right? Or another example, if user clicks on a marker of scatterplot A, it will filter the data and the histogram showing all the information within that marker, within that country. So there's a lot of interactivity that you can do with Dash. And Jeroen, what we're really proud about, what I'm really proud about regarding Dash, is that with Dash, you don't need, typically to build dashboards and to display them online, you needed a lot of programming knowledge, like full stack, right? You needed front end, back end, JavaScript, CSS. Well, now you don't need that with Dash. You need Python, and you can fully customize your dashboard. Yeah, so that's the main advantage of Dash compared to the older ways of making dashboards.
Yeah.
So was that clear, Jeroen? Do you think?
Of course, yeah, that's very clear. And so it has been existing for a while. So it's really composed of a nice library, a tool set, but recently you also introduced, and I think that's the next tab also, Plotly Studio, which allows it to make it even easier now to create dashboards, right? That's the next step that you have now taken.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for the segue, Jeroen. So that is correct. So we had Dash for many years, and we still have it. It's an extremely powerful library, and in fact, it's Dash and Plotly is within Plotly Studio.
Exactly.
But we decided to take advantage of AI and say, you know what? We know that with AI, we can create beautiful dashboards that can create the code for us, right? Create 2,000, 3,000 lines of code in a matter of minutes. And so we said, you know what? We can prompt our agent. We can prepare and train our agent to based on over 10 years of experience that we have, almost 13 years of experience in data visualization. And if we can tell it exactly how to build charts, what kind of charts to build based on what kind of information, what kind of data you have, how to filter the data, then it can do a very, very good job, right? Think of it as like an LLM, I don't know, like Claude or ChatGPT that people sometimes might use to analyze or get insights about their data and maybe even build dashboards. Well, Plotly AI, or I mean Plotly Studio, it does just that, right? It focuses its agent and all the steps and all its efforts in just creating the best dashboard experience possible, and that's why we do it so well. So here's an example.
Yeah, let's dive into it, and you can, if you want to. We already shared the link before in the announcement, but you can download it for free. It's there's a free option. There's also a paid option, but with the free version, you can already do quite a lot.
Exactly.
So if you want, you can use this link if you're watching. That will directly get you to the download page.
Exactly.
And try it out.
Thank you, Jeroen. So here's just examples. If people want to go to this examples page, well, this examples, if you go to all the apps, explore example apps, you'll see apps in many different industries and fields and analytics, right? And most of them, because this has been around for a couple of years, when we first built this, a lot of these are Dash apps, right? This is a Dash app, meaning some of them are built by the community, some are built by Plotly. And in the first tab, we have our Plotly Studio apps. You can see if we go into the main page, you always see many different examples of Plotly Studio apps. I kind of like this one. Spotify is good. The Psychology of Banking, Formula One race. We can look at that. So I don't. This is to go to this site to learn more about see what you can actually build with Dash and Plotly Studio. Just go to plotly.com/examples, and I'll just show you here. This is snow accumulation. I think in the mountains in California. This is Plotly Studio, right? Just built with Plotly.
This has been created by, of course, connecting to data. Otherwise, you can't show anything.
Yeah.
Then using an LLM, chat function saying, okay, this is the insight I want. And then it's generated by Plotly Studio into this.
Exactly.
Or app, as you call it.
Yeah, exactly. Formula One racing. This was for one of the competitions that we had, an app challenge to create dashboards. This is actually a beautiful one with the sunburst and all that. So you can see the power of Plotly, the Plotly Studio. So we're going to close this. And now to answer Jeroen's question, so Plotly Studio. So I'm going to show a demo of what Plotly Studio actually is and how to use it. And if the community and our viewers here wants to work with a data set that I'm going to be working with, please, you have it. Jeroen shared it in many different places. You can just download it. It's a Rent in London data set. Thank you, Jeroen. And we also have the Plotly Studio that Jeroen mentioned that you can download and you can follow along with me, or you can just listen to me and then you can try it on your own. So let's see what I'm going to do here. I'm going to unshare screen, and then I'm going to share the Plotly Studio screen.
If you have any questions, if you're watching, just ask them to Adam. There are no stupid questions, so don't be afraid to ask a question.
Exactly.
We are here to learn together, so no worries.
Exactly. And suggestions. My saw a good suggestion. Thank you. Any suggestions you have about Plotly Studio? If you have a data set you want me to analyze, we're gonna try and do this interactively. So We have Plotly Studio here. If you have just downloaded recently Plotly Studio, then you won't see this screen, because for you it will be new, so you will not have previous projects. You will have this screen, a completely new project. That's loading right now. Oh, I forgot to restart. Let me see if I can restart it. A completely new project, a screen when you first open Plotly Studio.
Yeah.
Just let it load for a second. Okay. You can see my screen, right? Good.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, so let's go back. Plotly Studio. So this is probably, although it's not like an app yet, it's not a dashboard. This is probably one of the most powerful parts of Plotly Studio, because here's where you load and connect your data to Plotly Studio, and you can do it in many different ways. We're going to do it today through a CSV sheet, the rent in London, or a synthetically create data. Or maybe even both. But you can connect to your S3, you can connect to Databricks. Once you click on it, it will just ask you to provide your credentials, right? So if your data is sitting in a data lake or database on wherever, Snowflake, Azure, AWS, you will have to configure credentials. And it knows usually, always, what credentials you need. So you'll need like a host name, a token, a path. Once you plug it in there, you save your credentials. Plotly Studio will automatically connect to your data set and pull the data set that you want from your database.
And the question that Adam, the question I think that a lot of people always ask with solutions like this. So it's something you install locally, right? Plotly Studio.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry.
What happens to the data in between loading the data from your enterprise data source? What's happening with the data? Will it go via your Plotly servers or not?
No. So in essence, this is downloaded locally. So if you're for example, you have a CSV sheet locally that you are connecting to Plotly Studio by dragging it into this box here, then it's going to build the app. This is all on your computer, right? It creates a file, an app file within and inside your computer. However, when we try to start analyzing the data, right, to build a dashboard on top of it, we're using an LLM, and the LLM, we will give it like the metadata, right? The column names, and maybe even the first couple of rows, just to understands what data we're looking at. So if it's highly sensitive and confidential data, you probably want to use like a local LLM, or like the enterprise version, because it is part of it is going through the internet to know how to build your dashboard.
Okay. All right, something to be aware of. All right, but now you're going to use a CSV file. But the working is the same.
Exactly. Well, I was thinking of building like synthetic data just to show you how to get started. We can use sample data or synthetic data. So I wanted to ask your viewers here, is there any specific data that you would like me to ask Plotly Studio to create? Do you want me to
ask? Oh, so to create dummy data, or will it try to find, to create a dummy data set to, all right. So there is a short delay in, but if you have an idea that we can use here, let us know in the comments, and we'll try it out, and otherwise we'll figure something out ourselves.
Exactly.
And,
in the meantime, oh, sorry. Go ahead. I was going to say that in the meantime, if somebody has a data set or synthetic data they want to create, let me know. In the meantime, I'll do something like this. I'll copy paste. So I'll say generate a synthetic data set of 1,000 NFL customers segmented by streaming services. Streaming services. I wrote this quickly. Okay. Let's see. Copy this. And now it's going to use the LLM and pandas to, and it's going to tell you here exactly what it's doing to generate this data. We'll see an example of how this works and how you can play around with the data, and then we'll actually use a real CSV sheet. So here, we can follow along. Okay, I've generated a synthetic data set called NFL customers, and you can see here the name, NFL customers by streaming services. Data features, okay, we have customer ID. The AI created also an age column, a state, and annual income. Number of streaming services. Oh, this is like the general summary.
Yeah.
Cool. The data is realistic. We're sending active subscribers.
Yeah.
Awesome. And Poly Studio is loading the data preview. So now we're going to see the preview here of the data table.
Yeah. Good idea.
My fee, yeah, we can definitely use the Titanic data set.
Yeah.
Easily.
It's
Okay, so
amazing.
you're gonna look, it worked. We have the customer ID,
Ooh. Yeah.
age, state, annual income,
Yeah.
subscription status, and look, these are real, like NFL, ESPN. These are real streaming services. Monthly streaming. What did it say? We can.
I always like these dummy data sets because it also can bring you to new ideas when you're working with an actual company.
Exactly.
To have some new KPIs or what are the most important things. I really like to create data sets, dummy data sets to play around first with and to have something real to already talk about.
That's Jeroen, that's a great point. Thank you for bringing that up because, for example, if you're working for a company and your data is like very, very confidential, you don't know, like you want to necessarily put in there. Well, so you know what? Either create a similar data. Just ask Plotly Studio to create similar data based on your industry and what you do. It will create it for you. You can even tell it how many rows, and then you can play around with it and see how powerful it is.
Yeah.
So here we have our dummy data. You can see the code that it created. This is the code to actually create random choice, create the data, and to put in a data frame. And we have the specification. Poly Studio uses this to actually create the code, right? This is, and you will see this when we create graphs later. This is just a little bit more in detail than my first prompt. My first prompt is generate synthetic data set of 1,000 info customers, and then it really goes into a lot more detail to actually build the code out of it. We see credentials. No credentials required here because it's synthetic data. We're not logging into anything. We're not connecting to an API. And then we have the logs. The logs allow you to see what's happening, especially if it's a data set, a CSV sheet, or connected to a database. It'll show you what's actually happening. Cool. So we have our data set, and then we can click continue to actually create the app. But in the interest of time, maybe we'll come back to this. I am going to go back and upload our CSV sheet.
Yeah.
Let's see. How do I go? Let's go over to the project list. I'm going to delete this older project. We'll leave this project here with the dummy data, and then we'll create a new project with a CSV sheet.
Yeah.
So if anybody has questions about how to download Plotly Studio or use a particular data set, please let me know. And even after this session, if you receive questions on YouTube and you want me to answer, or LinkedIn, let me know. I'm happy to answer.
Or just tag Adam on LinkedIn if you ask a question when you're watching this back. Because I know a lot of people are watching this back also. No problem.
Yeah. So we're going to drag and drop. I'm just going to click, and I'm going to take the rent data set. And this is the rent data set. While it's loading, I actually downloaded it here. I can't remember, it's 10 megabyte or something. We have the address. This I think is from a year ago or 2 years ago. Although we don't have dates. This is, I think this is zip code in London, or at least sub-district code. Rent price, deposit. What else do we have? Average distance to the nearest train station, bathroom size, bedroom size, and a property type. So we have our data. Let's see if it loaded. Okay, so its data is now ready for analysis. You can use this to Articraft. It gives you such suggestions of what you can do with the data, right? And it tells you here, read all columns, prepare data type handling, read all columns to strings, convert numerical columns to proper numerical types. So it's
that's interesting because you mentioned that when we were discussing this last week, and it's relatively new, I believe, or it is being improved further. That when it's loading data, it will also do some validation and improvements.
Exactly.
Like this to make it right, more right to use for dashboarding. Can you tell a little bit more about that? What it's doing?
Yeah. So let me see if I get the logs here as well. Not yet. It's still loading. So it's so Plotly Studio. We made this general availability for everyone like around September, and this part, the custom data connection, data sources, is probably like a month into the making. A month ago, we released it, and it's doing exactly what Jeroen said. It's allowing you to connect to any data set you have out there in the world, and then it's preparing the data in the best way possible to build a dashboard on top of it. So for example, if maybe it has a column of prices in dollars, and in some of the prices it has a .00 and the decimal point is in a different point, and in some places it doesn't have cents. So it's going to try and do everything, normalize everything, or make everything very similar. Another example, if there's like empty rows, it's gonna delete completely empty rows. And it'll tell you here, what's cool about it, it'll tell you exactly what it's doing, right? Treats ask agent as missing values, common in data set, handles empty strings and standards, null indicators. Let me see if the logs will tell us more. So you can get a little bit more information here. Starts from here, preview, converted rent to numeric line on line 35. Deposit to numeric. So you actually see what it did to your data set. And it's good to check this. You want to verify. People often will look at AI and say, okay, AI knows everything, I'll just trust it. Well, sometimes AIs can make mistakes. So read the logs, look at your table, see what the end result is, and compare it to your table and see if it actually makes sense, if there's no, if you're still comfortable with it. 1 second. This was a specification. And remember your room, I gave it a data set, and then Plotly Studio created a specification in order to build the code. So you can go into the code and you can see exactly what it did, right? It took the CSV sheet, it encoded it.
So in theory, Adam, so if, for example, something was put to a numeric column that we didn't want it to do, we could change it here in the code, or
Yes.
what would be the way? Or do you then write a new message, don't convert that column, or what?
It would be probably best to do it in the. Actually, it would be best to do it in the chat, not in the code. You can't really do it in the code. You go to the chat and you say, "I've noticed that you changed the rent column to this. I need it in dollars because it was actually in dollars." Yeah, that's it. And now we're gonna. I just wanted to show you. We won't do it. You can actually do it, because it's pandas, right? So you can do whatever you want. You can say, you know what, let's look at our data set here. You can say bathrooms, let's see here, bedrooms. You can say, please filter the data so it only has 2 bedrooms under the bedrooms column. So I'm not going to do this in the interest of time. It'll just take another couple of seconds. But in essence, it'll filter the whole data set, and it'll only give you those rows where it only has 2 under the bedrooms. And then you'll have 2 data sets here in this dropdown. And then you'll choose what data set you want to use to build an app on top of. Right? So that's what's cool about it. You can have 5 different data sets, and then choose which one you want to build your app on.
Yeah.
So I'm going to erase this for now. And we're going to say continue. We're going to press continue so we can actually go to the app generation section now that we have our data in there. If anybody has already, because I see some community members here also that I recognize from Plotly, if anybody has built a Plotly Studio app based on an interesting data set that they use, let us know and share with the rest of the community. Like if people who might be new to Plotly Studio or data visualization, they would really appreciate ideas for good data sets.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we have here, it's building these cards out, the modules, layout, it's building the theme, data cards, but there's no graphs yet. There's a data table. So now we can choose, do we want to create a new visualization, like one single visualization, or do we want to explore different suggestions using the Explore tab? So what I'm going to do, I think it's still thinking, we're going to do Explore Suggestions. Right, there we go. So what is this tab? This tab has, again, it's built on the top of like 13 years of experience that Plotly has with data visualization and graph building based on different types of data set to give you some suggestions, right, on what kind of graphs and comparisons can be built. So we have several categories here: pivot tables, show the top 10, top 10, top 20, create a tool or calculator, look up something, compare side by side, changes over time, and just make a regular graph. And then you can go into each one of these, and you can see if this interests you, right? For example, scatter plot of deposit. What it was a deposit. If we look at the column here, we'll see that deposit was a deposit that they have to give in order to get the apartment. So it's here. It says a scatter plot of the deposit versus the rent with property type coloring. This is interesting, but I don't know exactly what it means. So I'm going to look at the prompt, the view prompt. It will give me a little bit more detail. So it's actually going to build this is the the title. It's actually going to build a scatter plot. Monthly rent is going to be x-axis, y will be deposit amount, size will be the number of the bedrooms, and property type will be, the property type column, which will be the color. Interesting. And the data, it'll tell us what the data is going to be, and then it's going to add some controls. You'll add a drop down to select the size metric, and drop down to select color.
Okay. Can you edit this prompt if you want? If you say,
yeah, exactly. We can edit it. Exactly. We can edit it. We can change whatever we want. We can, instead of a scatter, we can build something, or a bar chart. If we build a bar chart, we might want to change the y-axis. In this case, I'll just change the title, scatter plot of deposit and rent with the property type with the coloring of property type. I'll put property, just so we know that it works. Coloring property type. I think this is, where is it, the data? Okay. And then we'll say generate. Okay, so now it's going to work on it. Takes about 30 seconds to generate. In the meantime, we'll look at something else. So let's make a graph. Changes over time. You can't generate yet because we're actually going to do this in one of the next releases where you can generate as many as you want as soon as possible. Now you just have to wait a couple of seconds before this button becomes activated again.
Yeah.
But let's
so you can pick choices like this, but you can also start it from scratch, creating your own
graph. Yes. And I'm going to show that. I'm going to show that in a sec. Average trend rate by numbers of bedroom. All right, let's see that. That's interesting. Yeah. If the community, if our viewers see us anything they would like me to click on, let me know. I'll do tool calc. I like these. These are pretty advanced stuff. Location premium analysis, transport accessibility versus rent. Okay, this definitely sounds interesting. And like Jeroen said, we can change the prompt a little bit, but we'll really have to go into it to better understand the changes. So if we're in the interest of time, we'll just choose that. Transport versus accessibility versus rent. Okay, let's give it 10 seconds so I can actually press this button. And that's it. So, oops, did I press it? Okay, so now it's building all these graphs. So now we're going to go back to the app tab. All right, in the app tab, you'll see that some of these are still being created. So the deposit versus rent analysis was created. So we can actually go into it and we can see what it actually built. This was the first thing that we chose, but we changed the title a little bit. And here we have, Jeroen, here's the same concept. So here we have, remember when we did data sources, we had preview, specification, code. We had same thing here. This is our specification. This is a prompt that it created for us. And then from this, it created a specification, which is usually a lot more detailed. So specification, we'll click on it. So it has this, right? It's just a copy of this exact thing. But it also has the loading data, also has the filter data in a lot more detail, compute additional columns, and so on and so on and so on. Because Plotly Studio uses this specification with a lot more detail to actually create the code. Right? So it creates all this code based on that specification.
But I like it because it allows you, it's not a black box that you only get the output. You really see step by step, something has been cleaned. So this is the way it has been categorized. So it allows you also some control to do validation, because people always like to see, okay, but how did it arrive at this number? I don't trust it. It builds trust to see really the specification and even the code.
Exactly. Yeah. And specification, you can edit the code if you want. Specification, you can edit, but not here. You would have to just add it into the editable prompt, right? So for example, if you wanted to change something with the filter data, you would just copy this, and we'll go all down here, copy, paste, and then you'll change it here. Filter by range, maybe from 1,500, you will say from 1,200, and this you would change. So you can change really anything. I'm going to leave it this way. Okay. And we'll go back to the preview.
Yeah.
And we'll see
And it's really interactive, Adam. So you see filters, slicers on top, which you can use to...
yeah, let me see what happened to the app itself. I'm going to go to the app summary. Sometimes there will be errors. Sometimes something will not work. And I hope it happens here so we can see how we can fix that. Let's see here. So here it's spinning. So it's still loading the data. This chart was already...
So you can watch it by chart, and the app summary is putting all those charts underneath each other. So
exactly.
to watch all the different insights.
Yes, exactly. And some of them are still being built. So here's the deposit versus rent analysis.
Yeah.
Let's see. So it's a scatter plot, like we said, and we can see
Makes
that
sense. It's a linear relation, although there are also some data points where the deposit is very low, even if the rental is very high. They don't require a deposit. All right, interesting.
That's an
And
interesting...
does it allow you to then select some data points to? So you have you see a pop up indeed. So a tooltip, and you hover it. Oh
yeah, exactly. And we have property type, all these different colors, and we can change this because we have our drop down. So you know what is furnished type? We can change by furnished type. I think there's a lot more in furnish. Oh no, only like 5. So that's unfurnished, furnished, partly furnished. Like you're going to say, we have a nice linear correlation here. Deposit amount. We can plot these very interactive. So you can go deep in there. 1 second. And we can see the smaller data points. And you can change. Maybe I just want to see over 5,000 pounds. You can see that. And now we see, we can size by bedroom or by bathroom or distance to station. Really interesting.
Yeah.
With only one prompt.
Okay. It is. Yeah. And it allows you to filter it and dive into it. And the slicer is related to this visual, or does Plotly Studio also allow to have slicers that link to different visuals, or is it per visual that you really do your analysis?
You mean like this drop down if it's linked?
Yeah. Can you link one slicer to different visuals also? Or?
So we have, that's a good question. The drop downs is in this. We see this card here, right? 1 second. This card, the deposit versus rental analysis card. So these drop downs are inside this card. We have the top controls right here, which affect everything, right? Maybe I just want to see long term, or maybe I just want to see furnished, or only those with 2 bedrooms, and so on and so on.
And how was this created then? This top filter bar?
Automatically by just Plotly Studio creates it automatically. And you can probably change it if you go to filter component here.
There's the filter component. All right.
Yeah, and then you can say, you know what? Add a drop down that also gives me analysis or an opportunity to choose deposit, right?
Yeah. Between the filter component, also with a prompt, you can adjust it.
So we can change that as here, where you can change the code, you can change in the prompt. Go back to the app summary, and here. And here we have, so we have the table, and we have the different charts that were created. Just as a reminder, you can edit the charts, right? Let's go the bedroom count 1, 2, 3, 4. So why is this line chart kind of awkward? 1, 2, 3. Let me remove. Only have 1 bedroom. Let's see. Yeah, so I personally, Jeroen, I like this better. I don't want to see multiple bedrooms. It confuses me. I don't want even to have that option. Meaning, I don't want the drop down to be multi-select. It doesn't interest me. I don't think it's the best interaction. So I'm going to go to the prompt and I'm going to say that. I'm going to say, where is the drop options? Drop down to select, multi-select drop down to filter by bedroom. I'm going to say, what's the opposite of multi-select?
Single select.
Single select drop down to filter by bedroom. Count 1, 2, 3, 4. Default 1 bedroom.
Yeah.
So what's happening here when I click play or submit, it's going to use this to update a little bit the specification. Just where in the drop down section, it just says like that single select drop down. You see the default is going to change this in a second. It's still loading. The code will be built on top of this new specification, and then it will provide you the review with the new graph and the new drop downs.
And the nice things about LLMs, it doesn't really matter how you exactly word it in the prompt. If you would have done, I want to have unique selections in this drop down, it would probably also pick it up. You have to check it, but that's the power of prompting. it will understand
Exactly.
different ways.
And you can do it. I don't know if Marianne tried this in Dutch, but you can do it in different languages. You don't have to do it in English. You can do
Really?
the prompts from the
Nice.
very beginning.
Yeah.
There we
Cool.
go.
Let
One
us
bit.
know, Marianne, if you tried it out.
Yeah. So here I'm going to move this to the side. We have 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom or 4 bedroom.
Yeah.
This
It's a single select. Yeah. Cool. And it's quite fast. And now we're nearing already. It's going quite fast. The time also.
Oh yeah, sure.
I've one maybe quick question, because maybe people who watch this also have this question. So you have now in Plotly Studio a nice app. Hey, you're completely happy with this app. How do you share it? Because I see on the top right a publish button.
Oh yes, thank you.
How does that work to share it with other people?
Yes, perfect question. So I just wanted to say, dedicate 5 seconds to answer Jeroen's question from 5 minutes ago. To add a completely new graph, you just click on this add button and you just give it your prompt. Create a bar chart that does blah, 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 or give me an analysis of blah, blah, and then you add chart and it will create a completely new one.
Cool.
Okay, so I wish we had time to go into all of these really cool comparisons. But anyway, let's go into publish. So we really like this chart.
Try it yourself with the data set. Let people play around with it themselves.
Exactly.
So the screen.
We're going to click publish. We're going to make it public so anybody can view it, or private. This is going to be public. Your app has not been published yet. Publish app. And what it does, it takes about 3 minutes. So we're not going to necessarily wait for all this to happen. But what's doing, because in order to work with Plotly Studio, you created your own free cloud account. Now it's actually publishing directly, and I'm already logged into cloud, so it didn't ask me to log in. So now it's actually pushing this app. What do we call this app? London Rental Market Dashboard. It's pushing it to my cloud account. So if I go to, I'm just gonna share screen. I'm gonna share my Safari screen so you can see. If I go to my cloud account, there we go, share, you'll see that it should have been loaded. Yeah, there. It just, I don't know if you saw this 1 second difference. It just said I had global life expectancy first. Now it says London rental market. It says it's building, right? Yes. And I want to use the next minute just to show you in cloud what you can do, because this is a powerful platform that my Plotly staff, colleagues, and engineers built, which I'm really, really proud of. So, and it's really simple, right? You can go into your live app. There's some actions. You can, right now it's just loading, so let it build. You can go into sharing, so you can say, well, you have a team, so you can give it access to certain members of your team, and you can invite them as specific people. Anybody with a link can view, so this is completely public. And with a free version of Cloud and Studio, you get at least one app that you can share publicly. And then general is where I usually spend my time. I can change the name of my app, London Rental Market Dashboard. I'll just say Rental Market App. The URL, I don't remember if it's for the free version or the one next level tier, but you can also change this to say London Market App or Plotly.app. And that's it. And then you can copy the link. Let's go to the copy the link. Copy link.
But really, you can, and that's probably the paid version, allows you to add more members and have more control who has access or not.
There is some things you can do with just a free, but obviously with the paid you'll get a little bit more. But here's our app. It's live. It's right here. I'm going to share it with you in the private chat, so you have it, Jeroen. But here we go. And here's our app. We don't have to go through all of it because we've already seen it, but we see the line chart, the comparisons. Oh, we clicked on the comparison twice, my mistake. And there you have it. There you go.
Oh, I put it on the wrong thing. Sorry. That looks very impressive. And it's very helpful that you can share it in this way. So there's a unique link. And you can share it either secured or public. And I really like, because that's also the reason I invited you, because I see this really as the new way also to create new insights and also help you with suggestions in a very easy to use way, in natural language. And Marianne just replied she didn't try yet to do it in Dutch, but let us know, Marianne, if it wants to do it in Dutch. Probably it does. It's a large language model. But what do you see? Because you're managing the community. what is the reaction of the community? What are they creating with this? What is the use case for most people to use Plotly Studio? Is it a replacement? Is it on top of what they're doing currently? What do
I
you
find
see?
that most community members you start using Plotly Studio instead of um, the other ways of creating dashboards, because it's just when they tell me it's just a lot faster, and they get access, like they get all the code, so they can look at the code. If they're developers, they can verify, okay, is this really what I want, and they can
Yeah,
change the code if they don't, or the
yeah,
specification, so they can build. The advantage of Plotly Studio, they're using it to build a proof of concept to show their
mhm,
boss or their colleagues like how they can quickly understand the data and provide insight. And then when they're really excited about it and their boss is like, okay, this is really good, now they can, if they want to do more with it, they can do more with the free account. If they want to do a lot more with it, they can do a pro. And then it becomes more than a proof of concept. It becomes a real dashboard that the company, the organization, students at school, they're actually using for their
mhm,
day-to-day data analysis and data understanding.
mhm.
um, Especially because of the edits, right? Because you can edit the graphs, you can create new graphs. You're not limited to 6 or 7 or 8. You can do anything you want. You create other data sets, and you can connect to any data set. You can connect your data sets that are on the semantic models and Power BI. You can connect to data sets on Azure or AWS. So it's
Yeah,
powerful.
yeah. And it allows even more self-service BI, because that's also, of course, we talk a lot about Power BI, and that is what in 2016, 10 years ago already. It was also what triggered me when I was using it for the first time. It allows a much larger group to create dashboards,
Yeah.
and I think innovations like this will allow even more people to create their own dashboards. But still, because you have the code, you can also have the discussion with your more technical colleagues to really fine tune it, or to have it indeed first as a starting point, and then the next step to have it really 100% correct, because you have the code also. So
Yeah.
I think it's a nice bridge between full self-service and your IT colleagues. So thank you very much, Adam. I'm very happy that you wanted to join us, and wanted to share. And what are, maybe to close this off, what are feedback maybe also from the community that you're working on next? Is there anything you can share that maybe a new development that you are working on to also include in the product?
Yes. So there's a couple of things. We want to fine tune the data sources. We want to be able to. We got this feedback to allow the usage of multiple data sets to
Mm,
create certain apps. Now you have to choose one at a time.
all
So
right.
that's one of the feedbacks. And there's actually a lot more. But if you go into in the interest of time, I'm not going to show my desktop, but if you go to the Plotly Studio application that you downloaded, and if you open the sidebar, you'll see it says roadmap, one of the options. So if you click on the roadmap, you'll actually see everything that the community voted on, and the community suggested that we should work on, and then our roadmap of like what we're trying to work on and we're going to provide in the next couple of months or in the next year.
Nice.
So I wanted to say that. And if if I could just have 15 seconds, I just wanted to
Of
talk
course.
about
Yes.
community. So I just wanted to, in the next 10, 15 seconds, just say that we have our Plotly app challenge. I posted in our private chat, Jeroen,
Yeah.
if you both put it here on YouTube or later. And we have our app challenge that just started on Monday to create fancy IBCS charts with Plotly Studio. We
Mm,
do have often on a monthly basis community events and meetups. So if you want to participate,
nice.
just email me, adam@plot.ly.
Yeah.
And last but not least, community contributions. If you're really excited about Studio and you want to participate in certain projects that we're working on to grow
Yeah.
the community and to make this free product even better and open source, just email me at adam at
How many members does the community now have, approximately?
10, like tens of thousands. Now,
Wow,
not everybody is as active and contributing. We probably have,
huge. So it's really worldwide, Adam.
yeah,
So it's all over the world. People are
yeah,
joining. So interesting. So if you want to join that and help also further developing Plotly, check out the community website that's mentioned in the screen. And now it's cool to have also indeed some community members here present. Thank you again. Next week we're also back with another episode, And then we're going to be talking about actually one of the largest Power BI events of the world, maybe even the largest, at least because it's done by the Power BI user group in the Netherlands, which is, I believe, it's the beginning of March, but I believe it's March 5 or 6. It's 3 days, and we will be joined. I can't. My English is not that good. But Daan Oosters will join us. He's part of the organization of the Power BI User Day. It's approximately 1,200 people last year who were joining that event, so it's quite a huge event. Our company, my company, Get ResponsLIVE, is also one of the partners for the 5th year, I believe, there. So we're also there present. So next week you will hear all about this event. It's mainly for the Dutch viewers, so we'll do it in Dutch, to have more information and insight about the event, and also a little bit behind the scenes, because it's quite a huge event. How do you organize a thing like that? And hopefully Dan will also share a little bit about that. So thanks again, Adam, and everybody that watched, and maybe see you next week. Okay,
Bye,
bye-bye.
everyone. Bye bye.
Bye.